And now, ReclinerMedia.com presents The Stalking Dead with Mark Saxton and Michael Spillane.
Watching him trying to struggle to say, Maggie, I'll find you. Absolutely soul-crushing.
Now, Mark and Michael are on.
And welcome into The Stalking Dead here on Recliner Media, ReclinerMedia.com on this Monday, as we are recording on a Monday. So when you see this, depending on the day, I am in beautiful Orlando, Florida, Mark. Right outside are some dicks and some elephants at the beautiful Animal Kingdom Lodge. But how's the beginning of your week going?
Can't complain on my set of days off. So not enjoying them as much as you are over there in one of the most happiest places on earth. But still going good. Can't complain.
Yeah, definitely better than the alternative for me, at least. As we are on season 2, episode 2, we apologize for not getting this out last week. A lot of schedule conflicts and stuff like that, but we are here with you this week as episode 2, titled Bloodletting, from season 2. Don't forget to go to all of our socials: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and go to our home base, ReclinerMedia.com, for all of your juicy goodness as well. Without too many spoilers, Mark, what did you think of this episode?
Liked it. Definitely kicked off right away with I want to say action, but I think that might be the wrong word. But a lot of chaos once again. Starting off with another issue that needs to be solved like right now. So I enjoyed that part, and kind of just getting away further and further from why we first stepped foot out there to begin with. So definitely enjoyed it, and that's my thoughts without giving too many spoilers away. What did you think?
We introduced a lot of new characters, which we'll obviously dive into. A couple of which are still alive and kicking, which you'll probably know who that is here in a few minutes. But let's just dive into the play-by-play, as it were, of this episode. How about this, Mark? Right away, bang, starts off with a flashback that I honestly forgot was even here. We see Lori kind of talking to a friend, waiting for Carl to get out of school. And this is the same morning, afternoon, whatever, that Rick got shot. And we see cop cars pull up to the school, and obviously Shane gets out of one of the cop cars. Was it just me, or do you kind of see the early spark, as it were, in the twinkle in Shane's eye as he walks up on Lori? Did you kind of see it like you can almost see him kind of get nervous? Obviously he's nervous to tell her about Rick, but there might be other reasons at play why he's kind of nervous to talk to her. Or is it just all about Rick at this point?
I kind of felt there was something off for sure. Obviously, like you said, there's going to be a lot of feelings going in to tell her, hey, your husband's been shot. But it was kind of, there was that awkwardness, almost like it was whatever it was going on right now in the show was going on back then, kind of awkwardness, if you will. But there was something different there. But I do think the majority, obviously, was for Rick.
Yeah, so he tells her, Lori's like, is he alive? And Shane basically blames himself, saying the report said there was 2 guys in a car, but there was a third. I didn't see him fast enough. And then we cut to Rick continuing to carry Coral through plains and forests and stuff like that. We meet Otis, the man who we didn't really get to meet or really see him last episode, but we get to kind of meet him a little bit more, and he is the fellow that shot Carl. I say that in quotes, and you'll know why that's in quotes, because it was not meant to shoot a little kid, unless people are thinking maybe Otis thought Carl was a walker or something like that. But we meet Otis, and we see the farm for the first time, the precious Greene farm, and Yeah, I mean, this is one of those, I don't want to, I think historic's wrong. One of those notorious locations of The Walking Dead, the notorious seasons. You say, what season did you watch? Oh, the farm season. Nobody really says like season 2. It's really the farm season. We meet Herschel, good old Scott Wilson, the fantastic Scott Wilson who plays Herschel Greene. We meet Patricia Hill's eldest daughter, and of course Maggie, the heartthrob that is Maggie Greene. Yeah, Shane is yeah, kind of just doing whatever he can to be a friend in this as they take Carl inside, lay him down on the bed. Um, you could tell they're best friends in these moments that Rick and Shane kind of share, like, hey, your place is here. If there's anything you need me to go, I'll go do it, but you need to be with Carl at this time. Yeah, what did you make of kind of the friendship between Shane and Rick in these moments?
I liked it. It was a little bit of kind of one of those through the chaos and all the destruction. You kind of see a more human effect, and kind of what used to be or once was. So I like how they kind of can really feed off of that and go back to that as needed, especially when things kind of get crazy. So I enjoy those moments. That I remember watching the first time around. This was me rooting for Shane to quit being a dirtbag and come back to being a good guy. But it kind of that is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and you kind of see that friendship that is, I guess, still there. Um, yeah, I guess that friendship is still there. Obviously, Carl's losing a lot of blood. Herschel mentions that the the bullet was actually slowed down by the deer that it went through and went into Carl, but it kind of broke up into fragments. He was able to get the first fragment out, but kind of got to put Carl almost under with the tools that we'll see in this episode. But it's going to be a lot more. Obviously, you can't take him to a hospital in a zombie apocalypse. Just ask risk that. And yeah, Otis a very very apologetic person at this time, and he wants to do everything he can to help the situation. What did you? Let's dive into these new characters really quick. What is your first impression of Otis? Uh, we'll get into Lori's impression of him here in a second, bitch. But you, yeah, what was your first impression of Otis? I mean, obviously it was an accident, but yeah, what was your take on good old the old boy Otis?
As crazy as this is about to sound, because if it was my kid, I'd be as mad as Shane. I'd be how Shane was kind of treating him on the way there. But I honestly felt bad for him. Obviously seems like a dude trying his best every day in life, and got a good heart, and unfortunately was put in this situation. So like I said, maybe against popular opinion, but I truly felt bad for him, and kind of immediately started rooting for him as soon as as soon as he was introduced.
Yeah, very clearly an accident. Very clearly, he was there to shoot the deer and stuff like that. We don't really get a whole lot of dialogue from Patricia, the oldest daughter. I mean, you could give your feedback on what you thought of Patricia, but obviously, what was your first impression of meeting the very beautiful young Maggie?
Kind of reminds me of I guess in a sense of how we view Carol now, rather than what she first started out as. It's kind of that strong, independent, badass, look out. She's going to be able to handle herself, especially, she obviously showing her, keeping eyes on, on the land as a whole. Obviously, she's trusted with some responsibility. So kind of that kid right there being able to say, hey, somebody's coming, and then being entrusted to hop on the horse and go round up the cavalry at the end of the day, where it's like, hey, this is what's going on. This is where you need to go. Yeah, just that badass, you know.
Yeah, and then it kind of cuts back to Lori and the rest of the group. Lori obviously very worried. She said, "Why was there only one shot?" And they proceed to say maybe they took down a walker, and even Lori's like, Rick nor Shane are stupid enough to use one bullet on one walker. And Andrea tries to give the support to Carol. It's almost like they're looking for Sophia without really looking for her. They're just kind of moseying on at this point. Carol starts to break down. We get another one of a couple classic Daryl Dixon one-liners here, where he says, "Dang, am I the only one who's zen around here? Like we're gonna find that little girl. She's gonna be fine." Yeah, so just classic Daryl Dixon. We go back to the highway, so kind of in 3 different storylines. Now we're with Dale and T-Dog on the highway. T-Dog's injury is very infected at this point. We also find out his real name is Theodore Douglas. T-Dog. He's resorting to ibuprofen and cigarettes at this point because he almost talks Dale to leave. He's like, you know what? Why we're left behind? Because we're the weakest. You're old. Like I'm hurt, and he did bring race into it. We're not going to shy away from that. We cut back to Rick back with Carl, second guessing himself about bringing Carl with them. If he would have just sent him with Lori, none of this would have happened. Rick, I didn't notice obviously this the first time watching this way back when, and then watching it throughout the years, Mark. But I didn't even catch this until now. Rick thinks like this is is this some kind of sick joke? Like I got shot, I survived. Maybe wasn't supposed to survive as the zombie apocalypse started. He's like, is this my karma that Carl got shot now and he might not survive? I kind of like that. I don't even know what to call it. That whatever the universe is throwing, obviously in apocalypse, it seems like nature is course correcting or whatever you want to call it. But I kind of like that line that Rick gave. Like, is this a sick joke? Like, I probably wasn't survive my gunshot. I did, and now is Carl going to survive his? It's almost like a full circle moment, if you will.
Yeah, I agree, and I really liked how that. I guess the realistic mindset. I really like how they wrote that in. Just the not necessarily panic, but kind of that. I don't really know what to call it because it's not panic, but that kind of that all is doomed feeling. And I really think that's something relatable. I think that a lot of people could have felt that way being in Rick's spot. So it's like, you're sitting there and it's, well, I got away with all this, so this is my punishment. Like I could definitely see myself feeling that. I could see it being super relatable. So I really liked that realistic mindset.
Yeah, and it was just I can't think of the word I'm trying to say it, but I guess full circle, for lack of a better term, is what I'm going to use. But yeah, kind of that karma moment, like not only are we in a course correcting apocalypse pretty much, but now is basically my life course correcting itself when I probably wasn't supposed to survive my gunshot, and then happenstances that Carl gets shot. So the universe is like, well, you survived, so we're taking someone related to you, I guess. But yeah, for as dark as it was, I thought it was a cool line and a cool moment. Carl seems to be stable after Rick gives him. I mean, it seems like Rick gave him pretty much all the blood he had in his body. You could see him stumble a couple times, fall over and stuff like that. Shane, of course, volunteers to go to Lori and tell her what happened. That kind of changed plans. Shane and Rick have another cool friend moment. He goes, "Hey, your place is here." He goes, "I'd break your legs if you try to leave this house. You got to stay by Carl's side." Shane also kind of tells a cool story of when Rick was in the hospital, the strength of Lori and Carl. Carl wanted to give Rick his blood when he was in the hospital, thinking that it might help. And Herschel comes out and says, "Look, I got to do surgery. Like he's losing time. He's losing. His pressure keeps dropping. got to go deeper to get these other bullet fragments, and it's just not good news. So Otis, of course, feeling bad about the whole situation, volunteers. He goes, "Hey, I know where these supplies are. I was a volunteer EMT. We could go to the school, get it done real quick." And then, of course, Shane volunteers as well. And yeah, I mean, there's just a laundry list of items that he has to go and get. And then right after that, Maggie's like, "All right, I'll hop on a horse. I will go and tell Lori and your friends on the highway." She takes off. Otis and Shane take off. We circle back to Dale and T-Dog, kind of have their come to Jesus moment. And this is where they were like, "Yeah, we're the weakest. That's why we're left behind. Let's just take the RV and go." Do you agree with T-Dog in this moment? Like, I mean, should they have left, or they kind of just really messed up to leave? And you're not leaving everyone behind. They don't know about the farm yet, so I'm sure they would have been fine because they just found a farmhouse that's pretty unscathed and untouched, as Rick said. But I mean, would you have blamed Rick and T-Dog and Dale if they just took off?
I would have. I would have hated them for it because, well, here's two things. One, in T-Dog's words, if they're the weakest, why in the hell would you leave the group that's keeping you alive? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And the other point is everything got chaotic in the sense of this was all unplanned. Every move that they made, they're literally shooting from the hip and kind of just, they're playing reactive. They can't be really proactive in this situation. So, to sit there and overanalyze what was done when they had a split decision to make, I really think would have. They're jumping the gun and they're overanalyzing when they didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. We cut back to Lori, Andrea, and the rest of the group still making their way back to the highway. Andrea kind of separated from the group just a bit, and is attacked by a walker. Again, like, I guess I get it, but like, we all know the women in this show eventually become badasses, but you would never tell from these first couple of episodes in season 1 and season 2. Like, Andrea literally took out a walker by herself in the RV. I mean, Dale had to pass her a screwdriver, but she was able to do it. Now she's with a group of people who have weapons, and she's more than capable of I get she trips and falls, screaming her life away. And then, in the words of Glenn, Zorro on the horse comes by, basically saves her. We find out that Maggie says, "Lori, like, Rick sent me, like, Carl's been shot." And I love this line by Daryl too, where he's like, "Hey, you ain't going with her. We don't know this girl." Just funny. Yeah, I love that. And then again, we touched on the flashback at the beginning of this episode. We're like, is this an early spark between Shane and Lori? And then when Maggie rolls up on the horse, spoiler alert, but is this I mean, you could tell that. I mean, they pan the camera over to Glenn and his jaw is basically on the floor. Is this I mean, Glenn's already in love, right?
Oh yeah, love at first sight for Glenn for sure. What's funny is Maggie didn't even notice him.
Yeah. So I found that kind of be funny too. Like, yeah, Glenn is already head over heels for this girl. They do make it back to the highway, and everyone's like, "Hey, where's Lori?" And Dale's like, "Yeah, some girl took her. Knew Rick's name and Carl's. Couldn't," but I think he said, "Climbed out of my ass, man."
Right.
Oh man. Just
you know what though? I gotta give it.
Thrown out.
I gotta give it to Daryl. He's like really trying his best these last couple episodes to be a good guy and really try to do what's best for the group. And just I kind of I laughed, but I kind of hated it at the same time because it's like they're really trying to make him look like a dumb redneck, but he's really trying his hardest right here.
Yeah. And in a minute here, he'll try even harder. We'll get to that here in a minute. But yeah, I love the line of she climbed out of my ass, man. I couldn't do nothing. Yeah, just funny. We get back to the highway. Dale's like, "What's up with Andrea?" And Glenn's like, "She got attacked by a walker. It was a close call. Come on, close call, really. Everybody has weapons, like." But anyway, and then Dale's like, "Andrea, are you okay?" I mean, just the glare that Andrea shot Dale too. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, leave me alone. I mean, gosh, she hates him. Gosh, she hates that creepy old bastard. Yeah. And then we cut back to the farmhouse. Rick and Herschel also share a moment on the balcony, and this is where Rick says the line that I said earlier. Like, this place is beautiful, how untouched. Like, there's not a walker in sight. Are you a little surprised that? I know they're not making a whole lot of noise. I know it's pretty secluded. It looks very secluded. But are you surprised that maybe like one walker's not walking around? Maybe a mutated horse isn't galloping about or something. Something's doesn't almost seem right as they said, as serene as this place is.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it is when I first really started digesting where they're at, what they're handling, and kind of the whole landscape. It was like, okay, this is too good to be true. When is it going to crash and burn like everything else has? It was kind of like, all right, at any moment, this place is going down. Is kind of my first reaction at that.
Yeah, and I like this line by Herschel too. We kind of touched on like course correcting, nature correcting itself. Herschel, basically paraphrasing here, says, mankind's been fighting plagues from the start. Like we get knocked down a little bit, we bounce back. It's nature course correcting itself. We bounce back. I love that line from Herschel too. And it's not only does it ring true, but it kind of, I want to say it almost threw hope back into Rick, because he was like, is this my karma for surviving my gunshot, as we talked about a little bit ago? But I did love that line from Herschel as well.
Same. And what I was thinking, that when he said that, watching it this time around, I was like, man, this show is before its time. You know how crazy that would have hit home in 2020 if that episode came out in 2020.
Yeah.
How crazy that would have hit home for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And during this moment, we see Lori and Maggie arrive at the farm. Rick, we see him giving more blood. We find this was actually funny for his. I mean, this is where Lori starts going off on Herschel. Like, have you done this before? Like, the idiot that shot my son, and talking about Otis, and Herschel's like, it was an accident, ma'am. Like, being as polite as you can, an old farm boy like Herschel, using ma'ams and stuff like that. We obviously find out he's religious as well. But yeah, and then she goes off on him like, have you done this before? And he goes, well, yes, I have. And he goes, oh, okay. Good. And he goes, yeah, a vet. And she's like, oh, a combat veteran? And then we find out that he's a veterinarian. And it was just so funny that, and then, yeah, Lori just starts going out. What have you done this on pigs, cows, horses, and stuff like that? And it's just funny that whole interchange between Lori and Hort. You said you felt bad. I feel bad. Like, Herschel's literally helping your son, and you're going to go off on him like this?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
This is a couple times now. We're like, Lori, like, what the?
Like, I get the panic of a parent. I completely understand.
Obviously,
it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, he's just shut the fuck up. He's trying to help. He's the only one that can help your son right now. Shut your mouth, dude.
Like, I don't care if he only did surgery on a cat for this procedure. Like,
that's still your best shot.
It's your best shot. Even I mean, Rick even tries to really kind of stand up for Herschel, and then he keels over because he's given way too much blood. And yeah, we flash back to Shane and Otis. They arrive at the school, just flooded with walkers everywhere. I mean, you're almost like, how the hell are they going to get through this? we flash back or we cut back to the highway. They kind of make a plan to like, hey, let's go to the farm and reconnect with everybody. And Dale's like, well, or Carol's like, well, I don't want to leave. What if Sophia comes back to the highway? So they kind of make up another plan. Like, all right, you guys go to the farm, take T-Dog with you. Like, he's not going to make it if he doesn't get some kind of antibiotics. And this is, again, funny Daryl. He's like, hey, man, like, at first he's like, get your oily rags off my brother's bike. Throws a rag at Daryl. Brings out like a whole bunch, like a huge Ziploc full of just prescription drugs and stuff like that. And again, Daryl, trying to be the good guy, was like, why didn't you say nothing earlier? Like, I have a whole bunch of medication just sitting here. Merle got the clap from time to time. So yeah, Daryl breaks out his stash. And this is where, I don't know if you remember this or have read this or have seen this anywhere, but if you notice at the bottom of that Ziploc bag was like blue meth. And everybody is tying theories related to Breaking Bad to this. I think they're very cool theories and stuff like that. If those two universes are connected, they were obviously, broadcasted on the same network, so they maybe threw in some Easter eggs here and there. But it would be really cool if it was. I don't know if like the writers, directors, whoever. I don't know if they've even confirmed that this is like truly a Breaking Bad Easter egg or theory or something like that. But it is cool how Daryl did have like blue meth at the bottom of his Ziploc bag.
Yeah, no, I for sure found that cool. And what's crazy is the first time around I watched The Walking Dead, I didn't watch Breaking Bad, so I didn't catch that. Obviously going through the first time, and then this time, now having watched Breaking Bad, and then like you said on the same network back then and everything else, I almost felt like it was just the kind of the same company kind of throwing a little Easter egg, little love out there for a successful show, and I think they did it just for fun kind of thing.
Yeah, and I hope it's like, I hope that they are related some way, somehow. We go back to Shane and Otis at the school. Shane finds they open the trunk of a cop car because Shane obviously knows there might be flares back there. There is. They start throwing some flares to distract the walker. They sneak into the medical trailer. They start gathering all the supplies. They open the door to go back out and discover like the walkers are nowhere near where they threw the flares. They're just kind of all roaming about. And again, they leave the little mobile trailer that they were in. And again, Mark, still happening. Walkers sprinting to the deadline or sprinting to the finish line. I mean, these walkers are flying upstairs. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, some more of the World War Z zombies, the smart zombies start coming out. They start looking towards them. And this is one of those things where, and like you've said, maybe we're looking too deep into it for whatever reason, but that was the first thing that crossed my mind. I'm like, oh, now all of a sudden we're paying attention into our surroundings and sprinting to get our food.
I'm gonna laugh if there's like running zombies in season 10 and we just didn't notice them.
Yeah, that's gonna be good stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. So the walkers are just everywhere on this campus of this school. They were able to. It looks like they're like in a. I don't even like a lobby almost of the school of. They were able to latch this gate, and they're just kind of stopping to catch their breath a little bit, and they're looking around as just zombies are in every direction, walkers in every direction, and they realize they might be a little screwed at this point, but yeah, they just look around, walkers everywhere, and we get the end of the episode. So not much of a cliffhanger. You're just kind of sitting there wondering like what, like you're just almost like really is that the end of the episode? Just Shane and Otis kind of getting trapped in this little lobby area. But what did you make of the end of the episode? Do you like how it ended? Could they have ended it better? Could there have been more?
Yeah, I think they should have. I think it could have ended better. I get what they were going for, though, especially it being a weekly show back then. Um, so I mean, like I said, I get it, but yeah, I wish they would have maybe panned, across the room and the surrounding, and kind of giving you a better idea of where they're sitting, and kind of, what kind of options they might or might not have, and kind of just give, more detail in the situation. Because like you said, I think it was just like, that's really what you're doing right now. This is where you're ending it. I think it left that taste in my mouth when, like I said, they giving very little detail on their situation.
Yeah, so that's where they're stuck in this little vestibule. That's the word I was thinking of. But yeah, they're just kind of stuck, and yeah, the episode ends. I guess more of a cliffhanger would have been like Carl like going into shock, or like
Yeah,
seizing, or even honestly, almost a better ending to this episode would have been like another herd coming through the highway where the other group is maybe stuck or something. I don't know. There could have been a number of different ways to end this episode, but that's how it does end. And so we will see the adventures of Shane and Otis in the next episode. I forgot to bring my comic, so we don't really have much of a stuff and things, but I did find it interesting that the title of this episode is called Bloodletting, and nobody said it in the actual episode. No
yeah,
character
I never
actually
caught
said
it.
it in the episode, but it was more of the theme, obviously, of the episode of Carl bleeding, Rick giving blood. Um, so that was more of what this title meant to this episode.
Yeah, I think it was a lot like the guts one
Yeah.
where they, the zombie guts obviously didn't need to be said. I think it was the same situation here. Didn't need to be said. He gave a lot of blood. He almost, fell out over it, and I think that's. I don't know. What do you like better? Do you like better when they say it, or when they kind of, do one of these where it's like, okay, you get the point, and that's the name of the episode.
Honestly, I like when they say it, because I'm always looking for the character who says the title of the episode. So I always think that's kind of fun to point out. Plus, it makes our stuff and things segment a little better.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I get
Yeah.
that. I just like to see. I too like it, but better when the characters are, when someone says it, which character. But I also kind of enjoy how clever they may or may not be, and kind of when they don't say it, and act it out, if you will, or whatever the case is.
Yeah. So we will see if anybody says it in the next episode, which is titled "Save the Last One." That could be could be a could be a quote for somebody. Uh, before we move on, I guess I asked you about Patricia, Maggie, Otis. What was your impression of Herschel? The one, the probably the biggest new character that we ran into in this episode.
Yeah, honestly, I think you nailed it on the head earlier when you were discussing, um, kind of Herschel's outlook on mankind and everything else. I think for me it was a little bit of hope, um, and very very trusting. Like, hey, this is the right off the bat. This is a good guy, uh, and like I said, you automatically felt like this guy's giving some hope vibes out, because it's, hey, one, he's a doctor, super important, has medication limited, but medication, knows how to patch up. And I think we kind of forget how important the medicine side is, when you're constantly on the survival mode, and you kill or be killed type of situation. So um, you kind of understand that, wow, we've taken it for granted that we really haven't had a doctor around, and so now it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and then you have somebody like Lori who doesn't care if you've never performed surgery on an actual person. But yeah, I love Rick's
So
line too in
ungrateful.
that moment. I love Rick's line in that moment too, where he's like, "We don't have the luxury of shopping for surgeons." Like this is this is what's happening. Like this, he's our
Right.
only he's ours and Carl's only hope into getting out of this. So just like deal with it, lady.
And the crazy, like, for me, it's like I said, I understand the panic as a parent, whatever, but you know damn well that's your only shot. What are you doing arguing about it? Like, there's no other option here.
Yeah, like he's either like even if Herschel didn't know what he was doing, like he's still your best option, and like he's either gonna save him or die, or he's gonna die. Like
Right,
that's your only two
right,
options. Like Herschel's gonna make a mistake and accidentally kill him, or he's gonna save him, or you're not gonna find anybody to help him, and he's gonna die anyway. So, like,
exactly.
shut up, and yeah, just let Herschel do his thing, and yeah. So obviously, we meet these new characters again. Patricia, not really. It was funny because I don't remember seeing Beth in this episode. She is the youngest daughter of Herschel. We don't see her in this episode. We see her boyfriend in the background. Do you remember seeing Beth in this episode?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we see her boyfriend in this episode, but we do not see because Otis is Patricia's husband or boyfriend, and obviously Maggie is single and maybe ready to mingle, and then obviously Beth is dating that one boy who is nameless in this episode. He does have a couple lines I think in the next episode or the next couple episodes, but we haven't met Beth, who plays integral part of the Walking Dead series for seasons to come. Obviously Maggie does. She's still alive and kicking. Season 3, by the way, of Dead City coming out this summer, Mark. So hopefully we'll be back doing the Stalking Dead of each new episode of Dead City based around Negan and Maggie in New York City. So if you haven't watched the first two episodes or first two seasons, go watch that so you are caught up. So we're not giving too many spoilers around. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of The Stalking Dead, once again titled Bloodletting. We'll be back next week for episode 3 of season 2 titled Save the Last One, as Carl's still needing help. We'll see if we'll see if Shane and Otis survive their adventure to the school and stuff like that. Mark, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
Nope. I think you covered it.
All right. Yeah. So once again, go like and subscribe to all of our socials: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and might as well subscribe to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music pages as well. Once again, don't forget to go to our home base, reclinermedia.com, for all of those juicy treats as well. But for Mark Saxton, I am Michael Spill, and we will talk to you next week.